Welcome, everyone. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 908. This afternoon, talking about Fab's Autobackup. There's a good reason for that. Bitlocker keys, and all about the new Apple iPads that the Pro version I'm in love with, that I got to get to replace my old iPad, and I will talk about that. So let's first, why 4 o'clock on a Saturday am I recording this? Normally, as you know, 2 o'clock Eastern time, I always record the show if I can't do it Thursday, and I am available Saturday. Thursday, I was crazy busy and literally exhausted. So I pulled the plug and said, okay, got to do it Saturday. And I looked at my calendar, and I had blood work a few hours ago, and it was the only time I could get. And a big hint, and it went really well: drink lots and lots of fluids. I mean, lots of water, as much as you can. All last night, even in the middle of the night, I kept an open bottle of water, by my bed. This morning, drank a couple bottles of water, and the more water you drink, the easier your blood work will happen. So the stick, everything, it was perfect. So that was probably the smoothest that I ever had for blood work. And so, crossing my fingers for a lot of results. I do this at the end. As a matter of fact, the next week will be the last show recorded from Florida while I go back to Pennsylvania. So this Thursday coming up, I will have a show. And before I go back, I have a GP that I got to see. He writes a request for all of the blood work, literally every test you could possibly imagine. And when I go back, we can sit down and talk about all the results and, just keeping my fingers crossed on a couple numbers. So enough of that. This afternoon's show, I want to start talking about Fab's Autobackup, and there's a reason for that. And let me first, I'm beginning with email, and these are 2 emails I want to read from Kate. And the first one was, thanks for the shout out on show 907. I just finished setting up a new Windows 11 home computer for my husband and thought I'd let you know a few things about this. First thing I did, after he signed in with his account and ran the setup, was to check the encryption status. The switch was flipped to on for drive encryption. That's how my laptop came with Windows 11 a couple years ago. Here's a screenshot from my computer, because there's no way my husband will let me share a screenshot of his stuff with anyone. So, okay, that's okay. So the device encryption, and if I click on Bitlocker drive encryption, my browser opens and tells me I have to purchase the Pro version. That's right. And if I click to find your Bitlocker recovery key, my browser opens where I have to sign into my Microsoft account, and it's there. I think he was prompted during the setup to save it to his Microsoft account. Probably was, but what if you're doing a local account, and that was the thrust of my show? Then you have to go in and actually save it as a file and just have a USB stick ready. And she continues, I signed into his account, and both his old and new computers have keys stored there. So very cool. Thank you. Interesting enough, I had also enabled God mode on my laptop, except I named it Shaman mode. It will open that up, and you could easily get to where you can back up your key. So I like that. I didn't even know that was there in God mode. I haven't updated God mode in a while. She has a lot of screenshots here, and on the last screenshot, save to a file will not allow you to save the file to your PC, which is correct, and that's what it should do. You have to save it to a flash drive or something external, which is a nice touch. Absolutely. And we like that. And finally, I think that Fabs is supposed to save that information because I saw the prompt for it, and near the very end of the log, it says it exported it, but I can't find it in the backup. I'm going to check the FAQ. So she continues, hoping I'm feeling better. And now I got this, and that's why we're going to talk about Fab's Autobackup tonight, or this afternoon. She sent an email to Fab's support and got a reply to her trouble ticket, which I'm forwarding you here. A very nice person helped me with the path. Hello. I see in your log that Bitlocker password has been processed. You should find it under the public folder of your backup. And the path would be the drive letter, path to your backup, and then the date, then the computer name, then public, then archive, Bitlocker. And that was excellent. So I did not know Fabs would export the key for Bitlocker. That's great to know. If we have a customer that we haven't been, that we haven't been working with, that, new client, and we use Fabs, and, let's begin. What is Fabs Autobackup for everybody? So I'm going to have a link to where you can buy it. I live with, I love the version 7 products, which is Fabs Autobackup 7 Pro. And it's just incredible software for backing up all of your data files, directories that you can pick, extra directories that aren't part of any program, settings, which is very important, like customized Microsoft Office settings, details for Microsoft Outlook. In the old days, it used to be the NK2 file, which is the autocomplete for Outlook. You will get all the PSTs. It'll do a search and make sure to back all them up. And you can toggle a checkbox. It'll help you before you continue to do the backup, you can check what you want and what you don't want. I usually grab everything that I possibly can. But when I'm restoring to the new computer, I will then pick just the items that I need. And you want to have as fast as an external drive as you can. Now, what we do is, if we can, take out the hard drive from the old system, connect it via SATA connection inside, or even mount it and connect it, to our, SATA to USB device and connect it externally. Then you can run Fabs, and you can run what they call transfer mode rather than back. So you have backup, restore, and transfer for backing up all of the software data. It does not back up the programs. It just backs up the data, critical keys, like your Intuit QuickBooks licensing. It does back up your Malwarebytes key. But what you need to do is, certain products where it backs up the keys, you got to deactivate. So if you want to continue to use the same Malwarebytes key on the new computer, then you got to deactivate it within Malwarebytes, and then you can reactivate it on the new computer. So Fabs, I talk about all the time. We live in it. Clients that have, they're constantly upgrading computers, and that's what we use to transfer the data from the one system to the other. Make sure when you're doing that, just some other tips, take a screenshot of the positions of the icons because the new system's not going to have it. And you need to be able to, make it look and feel the same way. Check what is the default browser that they have and make sure it's the same default browser. Something Fabs does is it backs up all of the extensions, the settings, the passwords, everything that's stored for your browser, it will back that up. So that's another nice feature where you can go through and easily transfer everything because it's really the browser bookmarks and settings that individual saves that's critical when they go to a new computer. So just things to think about. I'm so glad, Kate, that you let me know that Bitlocker is backed up. I had no idea. I don't know why I should have. And I think it's because my son uses the product more than I do because he's in the trenches doing this, for systems every week. So, and speaking of in the trenches, this is a good segue. We are involved in an old historic building that was purchased by one of our financial advisor clients, and they haven't moved in yet, but we have the wiring guy that is a subcontractor for us, and my son, they were working on Friday. They still haven't finished all the drywall, but they got the basement Verizon was in, and that connection was there. So just getting the wall mount rack, the 2 patch panels, the 48 port PoE switch. And the reason why a PoE switch, because they're going to have PoE Wi-Fi devices throughout the multiple floors for the users. And which brings up something. I have not liked Ubiquiti. I know a lot of people love Ubiquiti. I even have a large install of Ubiquiti, but I haven't been happy with it. So I was thinking of Aruba, but then we had budget things to think about. For the first time, we're rolling out TP-Link. And here's what I would like to stir things up and ask for your input. For people, if you are deploying a meshed Wi-Fi to larger offices, what are you using? Let me know. Do a nice write-up and send me an email or record a voicemail. Record an MP3 and send me that, and I'll play it. Give me a good review, the pros, the cons, the expense. I'm finding the TP-Link access points for ceiling mount, they were pretty cheap. So very inexpensive. So we're going to see how this works out and then add more if it's needed. So, there's I know Ubiquiti was the standard years ago. And I want to know what's been happening because we have not had any large Wi-Fi deployments in a long time. We're simple, smaller offices that we've been supporting. And I can get a nice Asus, RC, one of the, access points, and put that, and I don't have to worry about PoE. We can plug it in. We put it at a spot where even a couple of them in their air mesh mode is fine. If you're only going to do a couple. And we've been working with that for a long time. But here we needed ceiling mounts to keep it out of the way. And our guy ran, the Cat 6 cables everywhere. And it's interesting. We had 29 runs. So 2 24-port patch panels, and they could grow. So I figured, let's put the 48-port switch. Let's set them up with the infrastructure in the rack to handle 48 drops, even though they're only 29. And we still have things to finish up and go back. So that's going to, I think, next week or the week after. And then hopefully things will start wrapping up and painting will get done. And then when the drywall's all done, then we can mount the plates for the Ethernet connections. Finished. The ceiling's not done, so we can't mount the wiring's in, but we can't mount the access points. So we still have to. We still have a lot of work to do. So I just wanted to update. Something else is interesting. I have a laptop here I have to work on, which I'm really glad my electrician handyman who can do anything. And anything that we did in this house, he was responsible for, including the split mini air conditioner that my finger's pointing to above my head in the back. That's not on today, which is interesting because it's 90 degrees down here. But anything that I've had installed or modified, he's done. So he brought his new laptop, and I'm setting it up, getting Office on it, put some anti-malware on it for him, and pretty simple, but it's nice to be able to have to do something for him. So now the only thing, I wish my lawn guy needed some computer work so we could barter, but I'm digressing here for needing, and especially because we're in an HOA, and we're that typical HOA where the HOA Nazis come by and write you up. And I got written up because for my lawn being too high. And that's because my lawn care guy vanished. Even though I'm in an HOA, we're responsible for our own lawns. And it is so hard. Finally got someone that is literally cutting the lawn every Tuesday like clockwork. Just like up north, we have it every Monday. So finally someone getting everything. Finally I got someone that is reliable, and that is a difficult thing in Florida. There's such a need for lawn care that the first 10 people I called can't even add another address. They are that busy. So just anybody in the Tampa area, and you want to look for starting up a business, let me tell you, you got to make the investment in the hardware, but there's definitely opportunities. They need more lawn care people down here. So just an FYI, just things I still have to deal with everything else. I am looking forward to going back. I do miss the North. I've been down here for the longest stretch that I've ever been down here. I've been down here since October 1st, and people just come back and forth and visit. And it gets lonely. It gets, I'm starting to miss everybody, and I need to physically visit some clients and say hello. And so I call it my summer tour when I get back. So I'll talk more about that next week and some of the things I have planned. Showing up at a client with some, some Starbucks boxes of coffee or Dunkin' Donuts and some donuts in the morning. They're the kind of things I need to do to schmooze with some clients. So, hey, what else do you do to schmooze your clients and, make that physical connection? So, because we're so remote for taking care of everything, you have to make an appearance. You got to say hello. And they've all, my son's been, visits everybody, but I haven't visited much in the last couple years. So I need to get out there more and, visit the clients. I want to spend the rest of the time talking about the iPad and the new iPad Pro specifically. So let's share the screen. There we go. And the first link that I'm going to have, other than the Fabs link, but the first link for the iPads is picking the best iPad to buy. I love the site Mac Rumors. This is my go-to site for anything about Apple products and any OS updates. They're the first. They always have the best Mac rumors. So you have, for an iPad comparison, the iPad Pro, 13 or 11 inch, iPad Air, the regular iPad, and then the iPad Mini. Forget the iPad Mini. It's not, I don't even know if they're making that anymore. It might be an older version that you would be getting. The iPad Mini is like a big phone. I don't know the market for that. For the Mini. For me, it's the Air or the Pro. Let me tell you, the iPad Pro though, they have announced a new, and I'm scrolling down, the iPad Pro has a new 13-inch, which is just, I can't wait. It's got the M4 chip. It has an ultra thin. It is thinner than some of the other normal iPads. Normally they go thicker. This went thinner. Now, they have the Ultra Retina XDR OLED displays. Now, there is an upgrade you can do for the video. They have a newer technology, which is a matte finish, so it's not that glossy, because I hate the glossy screen where you can see yourself. I'm a matte guy. I need the matte finish. It's what I have for all my Samsung monitors. Anything you see in my room here, the TV, anything, it's always the matte finish because I don't like the reflections. The only thing is this adds a lot of money for the option because you have to have a terabyte or a 2 terabyte storage. So now when you add the pen and you add the optional Magic Keyboard, you're now over $2,000 for this iPad. So you can configure it to where it's cheaper. But anyway, this is some of the great details of what this is all about. And I just love the new features that they've added, and I've been waiting for this. I currently own an iPad an iPad Pro 12.9 inch second generation. It can still get all the updates and everything, and it's working great. It's like mint condition. But this is what I use when I'm on an airplane, when I'm outside, maybe I'm smoking a cigar, having a glass of wine or something, and I want something on TV, I'm using my iPad. It's where I watch my Phillies games when I'm not in the house, and I'm just really looking forward to the new one. I'm going to use, when things settle down and I get back north over the summer, I will probably purchase it, financing it with my Apple Card, because I purchased my MacBook Pro last year with an Apple Card when they came out. I have the 14-inch, so I love my MacBook. And what I'm going to do is that'll be paid off, and I'll just continue with a payment for the iPad Pro. So there's a lot of good reviews. That there's videos on the second link I have for Mac Rumors. There's the first one is first impressions, where they'll demonstrate this and go over everything, and then just some more reviews. They have some great YouTube videos. Now I'm going to flip back to the first link. This, I want it to be fair, because what if 13 inches is just too big? There's an 11-inch, or maybe the iPad Air might have some features that are more suited for you, and certainly the price is significantly cheaper than the Pro, and you can get the same size. They have an 11 and a 13-inch. So, and the smaller ones, $599 only. So very reasonable prices. And what this I wanted to have is a great link for comparison, to compare all of the different models of the iPad Pros and, or excuse me, iPads. And I look at an iPad, but I'll tell you, it's starting to change. I used to tell someone, what is the difference, the basic difference between a laptop and a tablet like this? Well, the laptop, you can create content. And it was always the tablet is to just view content. That has changed significantly, and especially with the pen and the speed and the especially the new chip and the memory and the storage, you can create content on this. But it's not a laptop. You can't run Office like you can. You can run the cloud version of Office, but you can't run the full Microsoft Office that you're used to if you like the desktop apps. So that's always a discussion I have with someone that's thinking of abandoning the laptop and going strictly to an iPad. There's things that you got to worry about, and there's some certain things you can't do. So one of the things that I always like is I start with, do you want to create content or do you want to consume it? But I'll tell you, I have created content. My even my older iPad Pro, I reply with emails all the time, and I can do a Word document. I can sit in an airport and compose a nice Word document. I forgot that I had to edit an Excel file for a client once, and I'm sitting literally in the terminal waiting to board a plane, and I pulled out my iPad and got the Excel spreadsheet, and I was able to make all the changes I needed to make and then send it to my client. So you can create content based on the tablet, and it doesn't have to be Apple. I mean, you got Samsung out there. You got some great options for tablets, and certainly you should look at it. One of the things that I know a couple friends and some people, they're like their parents or grandparents, they move them into a Chromebook or a tablet because it's easier to support. I mean, you have that initial training, you have the initial learning curve, but from a tech support, from a family tech support, it's definitely something to consider. And that's what I like about the Chromebooks, because I'll recommend that from, for someone's, parents or grandparents, where they're not going to be crushed with tech support, and a couple clicks and you can reset the thing. So, and it has a less chance of being infected. So those are all good things to consider. So that is it. And I've asked for feedback for things. MikeTechShow@gmail.com. That's my email. Don't forget to go to the website on YouTube for youtube.com/MichaelSmithMTS. That's where all the videos are posted. And I think I have the last 2 years complete of every single show that I've recorded when I use OBS, and I record my show locally while I'm broadcasting it over Twitch live. And then what I do is save the file and then post it up to YouTube after the show. And in the post show, if anybody wants to hang around, that I actually do that live, where I edit the show and everything that I have to do. Also, if you're going to look at Fab's Autobackup, use my link. They're an affiliate, so I will get a few pennies if you purchase it through my website. You can't go wrong. I mean, that is the best software, and you've heard me talk about it for years and years. I've been using it a long time. As a matter of fact, the creator, Fabrice, him and I collaborated with him on things to do for when he first started. We're backing up email and some of the extra things to look at in backing up the email. and which is great. And I am a big supporter, and we can't live without the product. And if you're going to do it, they have, I think, an unlimited version now. I'm not sure. When I purchased it, it was like an unlimited tech license. So they have different licenses, and I think there's regular subscriptions now. So some of the pricing I know has changed, but it's very easy. Click on that link that's in the show notes, and of course that's at miketechshow.com, or it'll flip you to mikenation.net. That is it from Saturday, and I hope to see everybody Thursday night at 7:30 normal time, 7:30 Eastern time. If everything goes well, hopefully I will be able to do the show, and that will be the last show from as I say goodbye to Florida for a few months. And that's it. Bye-bye, everybody.